All right, so shit. I lost the box office review. I'm technically still winning this year, even though nobody's winning at the box office. But I'm winning
Sure.
this year. Last week they had $5 grand selling box office movies, a total.
Who's selling any box office movies?
Some
All right,
The
go ahead.
Lighthouse. So they because I lost, I was given the 2016 Ghostbusters movie, and because I knew this would be a fun experience, I went ahead and took notes. I'm not a note taker, and I'd like to be able to kind of review these notes because they were just like thoughts that pop into my head as I actually watched this movie. I had some moments in it that I enjoyed, amazingly enough. Mainly the main
Okay.
character, Holtzman, I believe, is one of the four Ghostbusters. Her name is, I waited till
I was gonna say actress.
Kate McMinnon, I believe.
Oh yeah, yeah.
She was great. She was my favorite part of the movie. I loved her. I did not expect to love any of this movie, but I actually loved her character. And if you want, I'd like to review some of these actual the notes that I took on there.
The notes?
Yes.
Okay.
And as I go through these notes, feel free to ask questions because these are just what popped into my head as I was watching the movie. Because honestly, it was just the first note. Here we go. The first note is a fart joke that leads to a queef joke. That's the first note because that's exactly what it was.
All right.
Yes, shitting pants joke leads to asking for a sample of it. Bad timing jokes hoping to be funny because of the bad timing. Pringles once you pop the when the first ghost appeared. So this girl has Pringles, a ghost appeared, and she eats one of the Pringles, and everybody looks at her like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "Once you pop, the fun don't stop." And I'm like, "That's fucking horrible writing. Are you kidding me?" They tried to make the jokes in here only because they were awkward and bad timing. That must be funny. It hurt my soul. And in fact, 30 seconds of the main character walking down the hall after being fired, trying to play it off. I'm taking the plant out for air in a box with her other stuff. She starts curling the box like she's working out, telling students they found mold in her office. Basically, it was a 30 second to a minute version of her just walking down the hall, just making excuses of why she's carrying her shit out the door. I'm like, that, it was drawn out. The very next comment, this hurts. That was directed at you. Because this whole movie fucking hurt my soul. Every other sentence is a joke. More dirty jokes than I thought. Made Kevin as dumb as possible. Chris Hemsworth, as dumb as possible. There's a phone in like an aquarium, and he's like trying to reach through the glass to get the phone.
No.
It's funny. They made him as dumb as possible.
Horrible. That's not even like. That's not even funny dumb. That's
like,
just
he's a receptionist, and he like picks up the phone, and they start talking. And he hangs up, and they go, "What do they want?" He goes, "I don't know. They just started talking, and I didn't want to deal with that." I mean, it was they made him so bad. Let's see. They did put the original Ghostbusters logo in here because there was a guy spray painting in the subway. And the logo was the original Ghostbusters logo, except he had one can and he got two different colors on it, so I don't know how they did that, but it looked like Justin Timberlake. There was a lot more cameos in this movie that I thought. They had Ozzy Osbourne, Justin Timberlake. They had all the cameos from the original. I don't fucking know. It looked like him. But they had the dumbass character, the Kevin, Chris Hemsworth. They were like, we needed somebody to make a logo, and he made like a ghost with big tits, like a kid's drawing, and they were like, "This one's good." We don't think it'll be good for us. Well, it's got do the boobs need to be bigger? And I'm like, it's very bad writing on this. It has nothing to do with girl power. It's just so fucking trash. Keeps referencing online comics. It tried to be meta by 3 to 4 times during this movie. They were like, don't pay attention to online critics. They don't like, online people trashing what we believe in. And they were trying to be meta about the whole, people didn't like that they were doing an all-girl movie. It has nothing to do with an all-girl movie. It has everything to do with the really shitty writing. How much did they pay for all these cameos? Because they had Bill Murray show up. I think the jokes that seem to run on and on are due to them thinking the improv was better than the actual writing. And you can actually see moments where the camera just stays on and you can tell they're just bantering. And they thought that was better in the movie.
That's how bad the script must have been.
It was fucking horrible. Let's see. Holtzman, there's my first comment, highlight of it. It says, Holtzman is the highlight of this movie. And then they had a Shining reference, which I put, that was, obviously I had to put that in there. I did enjoy the new trap that they had. Because the Ghostbuster trap originally, they rolled it out and then they stepped on a button and then it opened up and like sucked him in, right? This one, when they rolled it out, they threw it out there and they trapped like pushing on the button to open it up. It shoots out from the side of it, so it's kind of like an spring loaded. So you can throw it out there and it pops it out to you instead of having a dedicated distance. I like the way it looked. It actually gave a good reason why they made backpacks, because which I thought was good, when they were dragging it down the subway to catch their first ghost, they actually had it on like a platform almost, and the platform wasn't mobile, and the ghost started tracing them, and they kind of fell over with it and it almost like blew them the fuck up. So they were like, okay, first test was a good run, I think we need to make it more mobile. And I was like, that's nice. That was actually decent writing, showing why they turned it into a backpack in the first place. Ozzy, very next sentence, they killed Bill Murray. Straight up fucking killed Bill Murray. He's a person that in the movie that's like, I don't believe in ghosts, and they knock him out of fucking window.
Is he playing like a new character, or is he playing his original?
New character.
Okay, so that's why this is really not anything to do with the afterlife that's been postponed, of course. But the next movie is supposed to continue with the original trilogy.
Correct.
This one is literally just out there.
They threw in all the cameos. They threw in Dan Aykroyd. He was just a cab driver, and the ghosts are going all over town. And he's like, I ain't afraid of no ghosts. I'm still working my job. And I was like, you could tell they were really not phoned in, but didn't give a fuck about it.
Yeah.
I laughed out loud at the mayor's office because Holtzman, they said something, and Holtzman just goes, what? And does it like really creepy and weird. She's just so awkward. I really enjoyed her character. Like, I would watch this movie if I was interested in it. I would watch it just for her character, because she's very kind of awkward.
All
yes.
right.
They ended up killing Bill Murray and nothing happened.
You know she was in Bombshell too, right?
Who was she in Bombshell?
Jess Carr. Anyway, she was in Bombshell as well.
Okay.
But go ahead.
It says my second laugh during this movie, the Basset Hound dog reference, which was actually, I can't even remember the reference, it's been a minute, but it actually made me laugh out loud. They ended up slapping the ghost out of a woman, so she got possessed, and she kept slapping her until the ghost came out. And of course, comedy, they kept, even though the ghost left, she kept slapping her, you know.
Is it like, was the comedy just... You said it was dumb, and then was it like, that sounds like it was overused, like that's
it was made for children, but the first, like I said, the first comment was a fart joke that leads to a queef joke. Who the fuck are you targeting this audience to? It hurt. I did like the ghost. There's floats, like Macy's parade floats, going through town, and the Macy's parade floats are like going like you're looking down an alley and you see them like crossing the street, and then they kind of back up and they turn and they look. And when they did that, I actually thought the floats looked really cool for, like, ghost-wise, because they were, like, possessed floats, and they were just like... Oh. And they just started, like, coming down the alley. I thought that was actually pretty cool. They had a musical towards the end, where Kevin actually made everybody dance to Thriller.
Okay.
That was just fucking random on there.
That sounds random.
Yeah, they had random shit, like the Big Hero... You ever watch Big Hero 6? Where they,
no, I've never seen that.
Oh, there's a scene where it dives into the portal to actually save the kid, and he ends up sacrificing himself to do so. They had a reference exactly like that, where there's a string tied to him to the real world. And I was like, I literally put in here Big Hero 6 in the portal. Then they came out with white hair for no reason, and literally my line says, "What the fuck? White hair? What joke is this leading to?" So it's like everything is a setup for everything.
Yeah. It was over the top. It was too much.
The executive producer was Dan Aykroyd. I did not know that. And I literally put that in a comment. And the last line says, "I don't like you," which is pointing to you, sister. So, honestly, it was an experience I think everybody should go through. It wasn't well done. It had its very small moments that you're like, oh, that was cool. Oh, I understand why they did the backpack.
I wanted to give you this not because I'm mean, but because you talk so much shit about it, but you've never seen it. So I wanted you to be able to talk shit about it with a legit reason now. Now you can talk all the shit you want about it because you've seen it.
It was not enjoyable besides the one character and the very small snippets. I would have more enjoyment randomly skewering online videos or Reddit threads than watching
do that
this.
all the time.
Yeah, it was not good at all. Incredibly bad writing, incredibly poorly done. They shoehorned every original actor into the movie. I would recommend if you want a drinking movie, that would probably be fun for any kind of poor joke or fart joke. There were like 6 different fart jokes in there. It was just like I said, it was made for kids, but it also had very adult humor in it.
All right.
I wasn't happy with it. It was exactly what I thought it would be.
What's your official rating? And then have you seen what it's rated on IMDb?
No. I would, if I'm giving that out of 10, I would give it a 4.
All right, IMDb gave it a 5.2.
Okay, that seems.
That has almost 200,000 people reviewing it.
Yeah, it was very painful, but I recommend at least watching it for the small highlights that are in there because some of them were actually decent. But the overall
I'm glad it
movie
has nothing to do with the next one. So.
Oh yeah, thank Jesus. Thank Jesus. They never need to touch that again. That was fucking horrible. But I would like to hear the homework assignment that I provided to you because I finally was able to get a copy for you and send you the link to it. And it's been a long time coming, but I've had a lot of people waiting for this review.
Oh, Demon Sight. It was funny when you had held up. Yeah, you had held that up. I was looking at that and I was like, why does that look so familiar? And I think if you go back to the original video that you gave me, that I was like, that looks familiar, that sounds familiar or whatever. Yeah. The reason it sounds so familiar is because I remember seeing it sitting on the shelf at the house growing up because surprise, surprise, our dad is in it. Now, I didn't realize that. I started it, and as soon as it came on, I was like, when was this made?
You know how fucking long I've been waiting for you to watch this damn movie? Do you know how fucking long that I've had to keep my mouth shut? My whole Twitch community is known. All of BS reviews have known but you. Dad is known. The whole family is known. Everybody's known except you've been stalling, and I've been trying not to push you.
I told you. No. It's not my fault. I couldn't find it anywhere. And I'm like, I can't find it. I don't know what you want me to do. I can't find it. I can't watch it if I can't find it. You could have mailed it to me and it could have done a lot faster. But we finally watched it. And as it starts, I'm like, okay, so this was like not like a theater movie. This was like a hometown movie and everything. So we're watching it and everything. And I'm like, okay, this has to be like early 2000s, late 90s or whatever, just from like the quality and everything. And then the spot because I will say our stepbrother kind of ruined it a little bit. Our stepbrother said, oh, it was filmed in Nashville.
Yeah, that motherfucker. I saw it. When he said it, I instantly was like, son of a bitch.
Well, okay, so then that kind of got me suspicious. So I started watching it. I'm like, okay, it's more of like an indie film, personally made, and then it's made in Nashville. So I was like, okay.
You might recognize some scenes and stuff like that.
I was like, if Matt is that excited for me to watch it, either we know somebody that's in it or we're going to recognize a place. Like, it's going to be something personal. Mm-hmm. So I'm watching it, and then they're pulling the car out of the water, and I'm like, they're like towing the car out of the water. I'm like, oh, that's a tow truck. Oh my God, is our dad in this movie?
You text me that. I go, wouldn't that be hilarious? Ha, 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 ha.
Yeah. And even your response
that was his rollback.
Yeah, I know it was. I didn't even see much of the tow truck, but just knowing it was in Nashville and there was a rollback in it and you were excited for this movie, I was like, Dad's in this movie now. I know he is. And then when he didn't show up in the actual like tow truck area, I was like, I'm still suspicious that he's in this because I've known he's done plays and he's done stuff like that in the past. So I was like waiting for it. Did not expect him to be like the actual bad guy who was
the fucking demon servant.
Yes. So, basically, for people who haven't seen it, from what I got from the story was basically this girl can see demons, and she's half demon, half human, and this other demon is rising up and thinks that she's Abomination, wants to kill her. So she goes on the run. But then there's zombies everywhere. There was a lot of people in this movie. Like when they had
Mhm.
all the bodies laying around, dead
Mhm.
everywhere, and all the zombies get up and chase you. Like I was like, they had a they must have had like a lot of input and a lot of people. Like this must have been like a kind of a big deal for early 2000s because there was a lot of people that put time and effort into this to be in it and everything. Um, it was just hard to get over the production quality of
Did
it.
you
And
did you like the did you not have a hint of the demon servant being dad when he had the full hoodie and the hunting gear on and everything and he's walking around killing
no,
people?
no, I
Dad killed the
didn't.
most people in that movie.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
he did. But I didn't have that. Like I felt like
I
he was
saw it in the
familiar
eyes.
somehow. I didn't see it until he like I heard it, I think, first. But he didn't have a lot of lines. So like
Yeah.
once he started talking, I was like, wait a second. And then he undid his up. I was like, oh my
The girl's
god.
chained up and bloody. Is like,
Yes.
my master wants pain. And I was like, I know that voice. That is Dad right there. He has the long hair and the scarred up face and everything. And I was like, yep, that's Pops. Wants pain. Yep, that's Dad.
Yeah, so it was very surprising. But then as soon as like he came on screen, I was like, duh, now I know where I've seen that movie. Like legit sitting on the bookshelf at home growing up. Because he made that before I was in high school or right when I was starting high school or something. Um, but yeah, like it was like, oh, that was a nice surprise. Okay. I like that. That was fun.
Yeah.